My grandparents, my silent teachers. My grandparents are some of the most important people in my life. They are not just my elders. They are my silent teachers, full of wisdom, patience, and love. They have taught me many lessons, not by shouting or demanding, but through the quiet ways they live their lives. Their stories, their habits, their kindness, and even their silence have shown me how to live with grace, dignity, and strength. When I think of them, I don't just think of two old people sitting in chairs. I think of the warm hands that held mine, the soft voices that told me bedtime stories, and the loving eyes that always looked at me with pride and care. My grandparents are my roots, and because of them, I know who I am and where I come from. When I was young, spending time with my grandparents was my favorite thing to do. I remember running into their arms, feeling safe and happy. They always had time for me, no matter how busy or tired they were. My grandfather would take me on slow walks, pointing out birds, trees, and things I would normally ignore. He taught me to observe the world quietly, to notice the small beauties in life. My grandmother would cook delicious food, and while she worked in the kitchen, she would tell me little stories about her life, her childhood, her dreams, and the times she lived through. I didn't realize it then, but those moments were lessons. Lessons in love, patience, and living simply. They never sat me down with books or gave me lectures. Instead, they taught me by doing. I learned the value of hard work from my grandfather, who would fix things around the house even when his back hurt. He never complained. He just smiled and said, "It needs to be done." I learned compassion from my grandmother, who never let anyone leave our house hungry. Even if we had little, she gave with a full heart. They showed me how to be kind, even to people who didn't always deserve it. They showed me how to forgive, how to speak gently, and how to be thankful for what I have. One of the most beautiful things about my grandparents is how they loved each other. Their love was not loud or dramatic. It was simple, quiet, and strong. A look, a soft word, a shared cup of tea, or sitting together in silence. Those small acts showed me what real love looks like. In a world where relationships often seem temporary, their bond was something steady and inspiring. They taught me that true love doesn't need to be shown off. It just needs to be felt and nurtured every day. Watching them made me hope for a love like that in my own life someday. Even now, I can still hear their voices in my mind. When I feel lost, I remember my grandfather's calm advice. Take one step at a time. You don't have to do everything today. When I feel angry or upset, I think of my grandmother's soft words. Kindness never makes things worse. Always helps, even if just a little. These are not things I read in a book. These are the quiet teachings of two people who lived through much more than I ever have, and still chose to be gentle with the world. Their life stories are my guidebook. They taught me to respect others, especially the elders, and to always greet people with a smile. They showed me that money is not what makes you rich. Your values, your kindness, your relationships do. They taught me the importance of faith, of being honest, of keeping promises. They believed in living simply and loving deeply. Even when they didn't say much, their actions spoke louder than words. I watched them handle struggles with calm and grace. I saw them pray silently when they were worried, and celebrate even the smallest joys with full hearts. Now that I'm older, I realize how lucky I am to have had them in my life. Many people grow up without knowing their grandparents or never really connecting with them. But I had the blessing of growing up with their love, their stories, and their quiet teachings. They didn't just raise my parents, they shaped our whole family. They were the foundation that held everything together. Their love made our home feel warm. Their presence made our lives feel safe. I carry their lessons with me every single day. Even now, when they are no longer with me, I feel them around me. When I help someone without expecting anything in return, I feel my grandmother's smile. When I stay strong during tough times, I hear my grandfather's calm voice reminding me to keep going. I keep their photos close, not just to remember their faces, but to remind myself to live like they did, with love, patience, and grace. They are no longer here in person, but their teachings live inside me like a soft light that never fades. Sometimes I visit the places they loved, the garden where my grandfather used to sit, the kitchen where my grandmother made tea, and I feel their presence. I close my eyes and say thank you, again and again. Thank you for the love, for the lessons, and for the quiet strength you gave me. I hope I can make them proud by living a good life, by being a kind person, and by passing on what they taught me to others. I know that if I ever have children, or grandchildren, I will tell them about my grandparents, the silent teachers who made me who I am. In the end, my grandparents didn't need big words or fancy degrees to teach me about life. They taught me everything through how they lived, how they loved, and how they treated others. They were not loud or famous, but they were heroes in my eyes. They gave me the kind of love that never fades, the kind of wisdom that stays in your heart forever. They are my silent teachers, and I will always be grateful for their quiet, powerful lessons.